Well, it's Tuesday, everybody. So it's Tom Talks. It's almost dark out because of daylight savings time. It's 6:04. Look out the window. So I'm on my way home. We're in Pensacola, and thought I'd kind of wrap you guys up or give you an idea where my head is at with 2026 and racing and I'm sorry. And what I'm thinking in general for next year. So, if you would have talked to me on the ride home from Road America, I was saying DSG, I was saying turbocharger, I was saying Mark 7 IRS, I was saying ABS, all those four things, and I was 100% game to do it. But now I'm really not. I went and did the cost for what I get analysis, right, of putting the DSG in. The rules, I pay a 2% weight penalty, right, to run the DSG. The DSG swap itself was going to cost, because we can't go race a DSG transmission without an LSD, right? And a wave track is $1,800. I'm not going to race a 100,000 mile DSG with the original clutch packs in it, so there's another $1,400. I have to run a different ECU than the Haltech to control it. So and I got new axles again, and long story short, it was about $6,500. And that's before it gets in the car. That's just building the tranny, getting the parts made and all that stuff, and bolting it to the engine. The flywheel is freaking $800, right? You got one. So it's really expensive. And then, of course, I like spares, so I would have to do half of that again twice. Because when we drive 20 hours to Mid-Ohio or whatever, I don't want to have a transmission problem and not have a spare. Like, I have 3 of the current transmissions ready to go, and those are all brand new. So I said, maybe not. And then, so we said, let's think about the ABS, right? Because I really like the idea of doing the ABS swap. I love the idea of doing that. But the Mark II knuckles don't have, the Mark III knuckles do, but the Mark II rears, I don't have ABS holes because of the camber shift, right? So I really can't put ABS in it very easily. I worked with a guy in Germany, Marco's famous race car driver over there. He was going to get me a Bosch E46M unit, program it. He knew the weight of the car, tire diameter, all that stuff, right? 2,500 euros plus import taxes, which are ridiculous. Would have been another $4,000 by the time that stuff all showed up to my doorstep. But I can't put it in the car. I have to switch to Mark 6 wheel bearings and hubs, right? Which means I gotta cut all the rear floor out, move the fuel tank, redo the exhaust in the back to get the Mark 6 rear axle beam in. The front is very easy because it's McPherson strut. So I said, man, that's a lot of time, right? The money's not so big. You can buy a pretty standard rear subframe with all the fixings for $500 or $600, and then but then the added cost really is that I have to get a new set of wheels, right? I have to get a new set of wheels. I have to get 3 new sets of wheels because I'm going from 4x100 to 5x whatever the new cars are, 114. So just between the DSG swap and the ABS swap, we got, I don't know, $12,000 in just money. No actual me doing the work, time, energy. And I'm like, man, that sucks, right? And then I said, what about if we do a turbocharger, right? And I said, I'm always planned, if I was ever going to do it, to use OEM parts. I was going to use an RS3 or TTRS turbocharger, right? I already have Haltech, I already have 1,000cc injectors, I already have a radium fuel system, so I'm barely touching it. Buddy of mine, Miguel at RSP, does pretty much only 2.5 turbo stuff. He has a couple used OEM setups on the floor. I buy one of those. I buy a $500 adapter plate. We make an intercooler setup for it. Bolt that on, and we pick up anywhere from, we don't really want to pick up horsepower, but we have the ability to, right? We have the ability to make 200, on 14 pounds, it'll make 310, 340 horsepower. And we want to run that thing down to 200. But we'll probably make 200 from 4,000 to 8,000, which will be huge for us because we're in third and fourth gear all the time, right? So I kind of sat down and looked at the budget for next year and said, just in travel costs, going to all these events, it'll be a $20,000 a year, right? Just getting to whatever, 4 events. It's $5,000, right? That's how it works out. And that's not including tires and car maintenance and all that stuff. So I said, kind of like, how am I going to allocate my money for next season? And I said, I'm looking back at the shortcomings from last year, and it was really the car from 6,000 to, or 6,500 to 8,000 RPM was fine. Nobody pulled away from me, and I never really felt what should I say, out-carred with the people I was racing. Like, I never felt like there's nothing I can do to beat this guy. Like at Road America, there's a couple times where like ABS would have definitely helped. But at one point I was in the group of cars from 10th to 20th for laps, and it was fine, right? Like there's just nowhere to go, right? There's 7 cars, everybody battling, so you're just kind of waiting for somebody to make a mistake or a hole to open up that you can actually use. So I said, I don't want to build a new car for sure, right? Because I just explained all the pricing of that, structure of that, and Mark 7 GTI almost sounds like it'd be the easy button because it gets me everything I want. But then I remember Mark 7 2.0s. All 2.0 turbos are not good race cars. You can't keep them cool enough. You can't. You got to do every upgrade to the cooling system possible. It'd be hard to find somebody to work with to down tune it, because I don't need to make 350 horsepower. I need to make probably 250 or whatever, however light you can get a GTI down to. And I'm sure people watch this and go, no, man, my GTI is a great car, blah, 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 blah. I time attack it. It's different. We've done a ton of them. They don't last on the road course. They don't, especially wheel-to-wheel racing. You come down to Sebring in August and do an ST any race, super touring race. You're nose to tail with a guy for a lap. You're going to see the hottest coolant temps you've ever seen, right? And that's why you don't see Volkswagen race cars really in any series. There's a couple of them in GTS3 in the Southeast, 2 Jettas, and I think there's a guy with a VR6 Corrado and a guy with a VR6 Mark II. And those guys will tell you they went through the ringer to get those cars reliable, right? And one of them's an ex-Pikes Peaks car. So, you'd spend a fortune starting a new car. And then plus it's a Mark 7. Everybody else has those in the world. So I think for next season, we're going to refine what we have, super refine it. I think we are going to turbocharge it and really utilize, kind of abuse that power band rule if they're not going to fix it. And that's the plan. So, I'm going to get some updates and get all that stuff going when we're good to go. So, anyways, Tuesday, Jetta thoughts. If you got a better idea for getting ABS in my car or a DSG in my car that doesn't cost a ton of money, respond in the comments. Thank you.